This is the plaintiff, Donna Facey. She says she took her car to the dishonest defendant for a new transmission, which was supposed to be from a reputable company, but the guy pulled a switcheroo and got the transmission from a guy he knew. She was royally ripped off by this man, refuses to be taken advantage of, and is suing for the $3,748.91 she's rightfully owed. This is the defendant, Leroy Grant. He says he saved the plaintiff money by getting her a transmission using his mechanic's discount. He installed it, the car passed inspection, and that was that. About a week later, she brought the car back in with some electrical issues, demanded her money back, and started blaming him. Bottom line, there are a lot of moving parts on a car. Things go bad, and he's simply not responsible. He's accused of Tranny Troubles.
All parties, please hit your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff took her car to the defendant and got ripped off. But the defendant says he saved her money and her problems had nothing to do with the tranny. It's the case of we have transmission, we have lawsuit.
Thank you, Douglas. Donna Facey, you are suing Leroy Grant for $3,748.91 that you say he owes you for selling you a bad transmission. Tell me what happened.
So I met Mr. Grant on July 19th, 2017.
Okay, so
he
you
put
go
me
to
in
him
touch.
to do what?
Right.
Change your
Right. So the transmission was defective and needed to be changed to a remanufactured transmission.
All right, and you agreed with him to put one into your car at what price?
At $1,450 for the transmission.
And did you pay him for something else as well?
And the labor, $400 for labor.
Okay, so a total of $1,850.
That's correct.
All right, you pick up the car when?
It was the 27th of July,
All right, and when you pick it up on the 27th of July, you drive it for how long before you have a problem?
About 4 days.
All right, and in 4 days, when you have a problem, what do you do with the car?
I contacted him and I let him know that the engine light came back on, and that was the initial indicator that told me the transmission was not working.
Okay, but did you have any transmission problems with the car other than
Yes.
that the engine light went on?
Difficulty accelerating.
So that started happening 4 days after you picked it up?
That started happening the day I picked it up, because when I went to pick it up, the light was still on, and I pointed it out to Leroy, and he tried to remedy the problem. He test drove the car. It wasn't accelerating, and the light was still on. He used his computer to try to get the light off, which he eventually was able to get the light off, but the car was still not performing
So
properly.
why did you pick it up? Did you tell him that then?
I told him that, but I also had an inspection date coming up on the Monday, and this was now Friday, which he was apprised of before I had a transmission changed. So this problem had to be fixed by Monday, and it was now
Because you had
Friday.
an inspection for your car that you had to do on Monday. You had an appointment?
No, but it was due. It was going to
It was due on
expire.
Monday. All right. So
Indeed.
you bring it in on Monday. It passes inspection.
It did.
All right. And then when do you bring him the car so he could try to fix whatever was wrong?
So the next time I saw him was by appointment on August 18th.
But why so much time between the time you noticed the problem and got the inspection and August 18th? Why 3 weeks?
So initially, there was a delay because he didn't have time, and also partially because I had a limitation. I had misplaced my glasses and I needed it to drive, so there was a little bit of a delay, but we eventually got
Okay.
together
So you see him on
the
August 18th, and what happens?
When I went to his shop, his gate was locked, which meant that I could not drive in, and it was a very busy street outside. He told me that he was busy, couldn't see me right away, and I had to wait 2 hours. I waited for him. He came outside. The gate was still locked, so I couldn't drive in.
Did you make her wait 2 hours?
No, if she were there early, I was at work. I work for a company.
Doing
so I was
what?
At mechanic work.
Oh, so this was a side job you had?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you knew that, right?
It's a side job performed at another legitimate garage.
Yeah, but you weren't
Just
paying
happens
the
to be-
garage. You paid him directly, right?
I was paying him directly
Okay.
at the secondary
All right,
garage.
So when he gets the car back, does he fix the problem?
No.
Okay. How do
He
you,
denied that the transmission was the problem.
how did he know that there was no problem with the transmission?
He used his computer to tell him whether or not.
Okay. Did he show you how the computer didn't spot a transmission problem?
No.
So would you have your transmission fixed by a backyard mechanic?
I mean, unless I knew the guy well, I wouldn't trust that. You don't know his skills. You don't know how well he's going.
But cheaper, maybe.
I would much rather go to professional.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Does he tell you what he thinks is
He
wrong?
told me that he was going to, quote unquote, call the guy to find out what needs to be done to fix this transmission, if indeed the transmission is the problem. But he wasn't admitting at that
What
point.
was the problem at that time?
Problem with car was misfiring, so acceleration, it would not accelerate. I tried to fix it
How do you know the car has a misfire?
because the first time when she bring the car, from I went in the car is shaking. And I tell her, you have more than one problem. You have the transmission problem and you have a misfire. She said she only wanted
Where does a misfire come from?
from the coil and the spark plug wire,
Which is where?
which is a part of the engine that if it's not firing right, it will not have the power for the transmission to work properly. And
So
I-
you told her you have to fix that too, and she said, absolutely not, no way?
No, she don't want that to fix, she wants a
Did
transmission.
that happen? Did he tell you?
No. When I brought him the car had been diagnosed by Pep Boys and others, and the only problem I had that needed to be addressed was the transmission.
Can I just see the paperwork where you tell her that she has all this other problems and she's choosing not to take care of it?
I don't have a paperwork.
Of course you don't, because you don't
Right.
plan on telling the IRS about this. All right. So now tell me what happens. You end up, when it comes back in, what do you say to her?
I plugged the scanner in and I checked the code, and on the code that came back, it was misfire and a circuit problem with the transmission.
Can I see that? Did you print out a report or anything?
That scanner does not
Because
print
here-
out. She took a picture of what was on the scanner.
She did?
Yes.
Did you?
I don't
No,
remember.
she did
any
take a
picture.
Did you take a picture of what was on the scanner? Because I'd love to
With
see
her
it.
phone, yes.
I don't remember.
Well, let's see your phone. Look at your phone and try to find it, because that's very elucidating. I think that I'd
what
like to
date
see
are we
that.
talking about?
When she bought it back.
Okay. So that would
You
be
want-
what day? We're talking about August 18th or 19th?
Yes.
Okay, so look at your pictures from August 18th or 19th.
I'm not adept at this.
Okay, is it an iPhone?
Yeah.
Hand it over. It's a 2000 Dodge Caravan?
It is.
All right,
Yes.
can you take it over to him?
What is the? Okay.
Is that your machine?
Yes, scanner machine.
And what does
That's
that say?
It's a TC control current error.
What's that mean?
That means the module have an error.
What's a
in-
module?
The module is a piece that attached to the transmission, and also it have a computer which
So then your error is saying that there's an error on a piece in the transmission.
not in the transmission, it's in the
Who attached it to the new transmission?
it come with the new transmission.
Okay, so when you see this, why isn't your immediate response to her, okay, leave the car with me, I'm going to switch out the transmission? Because it's a pain,
No,
right?
because-
Because here's what happens. She goes to Dodge, right? And Dodge tells you that you need a new transmission.
Indeed, I have
Let me see
multiple
the paperwork
transmission
from
codes.
Dodge. Customer states check engine light is on. Customer wants printed scan results for vehicle condition. Perform diagnostic scan found internal transmission failure codes. You're suing for the cost to fix the transmission at the new place. Now, so you pick an alley mechanic on the spare time, but you want him to pay to have it fixed at a certified Dodge dealership?
Not exactly. His day
Exactly.
job.
It's exactly that. I don't know how not exactly could come out of your mouth. All right. And then what is the total that you thought it was $1,850? Nobody has a receipt or anything for the money
I
to
do.
switch? You do.
Yes.
I love you. She takes the nearest roll of toilet paper and the nearest crayon, and she writes out, I, Leroy Grant. It's on a vet bill.
It's my dog.
I just love you. She did exactly what I have been saying for 17 years.
I watch you.
I got a feeling. I, Leroy Grant, have received from Donna Fassy $1,850 verdict for the plaintiff. Pay the lady.
Your Honor,
you get
may I
the money
say-
back that you paid him. And tell me about the tolls. Do you have the receipts for the tolls from the times you went to him, not anybody else?
I don't think I have all of them. And also the additional receipt.
And an additional $51 in tolls for $1,901. And you were going to complain, and the reason you were going to complain was what?
Oh, I'm not complaining, Your Honor.
No, actually,
I'm
you know what?
thanking
I think you should get the cost of the diagnostic, too.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Because you needed that to be able to prove your case against him, and he wouldn't or couldn't. I think the answer might be couldn't fix it. He could, but fixing it would have entailed all the labor involved in taking the transmission out, getting another transmission and putting it back in, and he didn't want to do that.
No, and that's
because that's a lot of work. No, that's a lot of work. Well, now how's this strike you? 1,901 plus 129.57 equals $2,030.57. Verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, the plaintiff recovers $2,030. Mr. Grant's just come out of the courtroom. Mr. Grant, what do you think happened?
What I think happened, she just want for me to pay for a transmission, that nothing wrong with it.
Well, that's not the way the judge sees it, so I'm sorry about that. Okay, beg your pardon, but you must sign a few documents. Ms. Facey?
Yes, sir.
All right, you've been through the mill on this thing.
Indeed.
You feel better now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what are you going to do at this point?
Oh, well, the car right now is not functional, so I'll get it to the shop and have it fixed properly.
That's the important thing,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
good. You got
Thank you so much.
transportation.
Thank you
Good
so
luck.
much.
Thank you very much. Harvey?
You got to document any problem you have with the repair shop immediately. Do not wait. It will compromise your case.